Howdy, folks. I always have to give it a few seconds before I get started here. I hope everybody's having a great, what is it, Wednesday again already?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Kimberly says it's
Wednesday.
Wednesday, so it must be. So why am I streaming tonight? First of all, I held a poll with all of my channel members about what day I should, definitely decide to stream on. And I gave a fourth option. And that fourth option was that, you guys missed me streaming twice a week. And Wednesday was the number one day that you guys voted for. So that's why I decided to go ahead and stream today just to get the ball rolling for the new year. For those of you who have just stumbled into this mess, my name is Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line, and tonight is Tribal Forum number 102, where we're going to be discussing rockers who have not been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with their identified bands. All right, and there are several of you have already mentioned a couple of people that we'll be talking about tonight. Of course, they're on my list. And I have a criteria because I have an idea. I wanted to play with this a little bit tonight, folks. All of you know what I think of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you're a new viewer, basically I think that it is an organization that is corrupt and that it has not represented rock and roll very well over the last 20 years at least. And in the last decade, it's gotten really bad. I'm not for hip-hop artists or rap artists being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no matter how hard the CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, John Sykes, says, I must accept it, all right? It's not something that I accept at all. He reinvents what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is all about. Every year he comes up with a statement. I'm sure we'll get one any day now. And to explain to the masses, stupid people out here, what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is all about and what makes rock and roll. And each and every subsequent time he has done this, he's basically been justifying the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for including, for the most part, rap and hip-hop artists. But I wouldn't want to see Hank Williams being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame any more than hip-hop artists or, excuse me, got a tickle in my throat, or the rap artists. Okay, so keep that in mind. Hope that goes down well. Anyway, tonight what I want to do, I don't want to do that exactly tonight. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, until we have more streams on this later on this year, because I'm going to be following this story real closely. 2026, 2025, they did some good things. They did some bad things, but they did some good things. For the first time in a decade, the last year's rock and roll nominations weren't half as bad as they were in previous years. So I was looking, I am looking, I should say, directly at this year. Okay, is this something that they're going to get more focused on, or are we going to get more of the same old in 2026? Okay, so keep all of that in mind as we go through tonight. But before I get into that, I did want to handle just a bit of channel business. I always give shout outs to those who have given us super thanks from the previous stream. And those folks were last Sunday, Michael Boswell gave us a $10 super thanks. Rockin' Robin Bird came in and swung the deuce hammer for us, a $2 super thanks. Michael Boswell was in again with a $5 super thanks. Just the Facts Man, $10 super thanks. Agent Pepsi, it was so good to see Agent Pepsi last Sunday, was in with a $5 super thanks. We're not missing your super thanks. We were just wondering where you were, Agent Pepsi, and it was so good to see you back in the fold. Michael Boswell also came in with another $10 super thanks. Boy, he shone through. And the Four Horsemen, my good buddy Royce Eddings from the Four Horsemen, also known, a.k.a. Royce in the House. It's going to be, the channel's going to be called The Four Horsemen with a colon, Royce in the House. And I've explained why that is. But he is one of the brother channels to this channel. I encourage everybody to go on over there and, sub him up. He is so close to getting to 2.1 if he hasn't already gotten there. But it's been a goal of his to get to this number, and we can talk about that down the line as well. But he came in with a $10 super thanks, and Ben Scheidegger with a $2 super thanks. And before I even got up, matter of fact, before I even woke up this morning, I found out that my good buddy James, Stormcop55, gave us a $10 super thanks for tonight. And that's all I saw was just the $10 super thanks, nothing written or anything like that. Okay, so
Storm's Cup said that's what he does. It sure is.
Well, James, you know I appreciate you so very much. I want to thank everybody who's hyping my videos. It is making a difference. It really is. I know each of you can hype 3 videos all week. If it's a video you like and you would like to kind of encourage YouTube to spit it out to a wider audience, that's what hyping a video does, right? You get so many points for each hype, you go on a leaderboard, and the algorithm starts shooting those from the leaderboard to a wider audience. So I certainly appreciate that. I really do. I told you that we hit 13 million. We've already hit 13.1 million views for the channel in such a short time. And I haven't been mentioning this much, mainly because I'm so behind on getting t-shirts and things like that out. We have merchandise, all right? For those of you who'd like to support us in a financial way and get something physically back for your troubles. We have the tribal mug. This is the original tribal mug. If you notice that, it's a silhouette of people from all around the world. And I like that it's in a silhouette because you know what? That's us. We're nondescript. We're white, black, polka dotted, purple. We speak different languages. We're on different continents. And yet somehow we are united, like you see in the picture there, as the tribe, right? What's the tribe? Well, what's the tribal forum? That's what I call it when I stream live. And the tribe is all of us. Any of my subscribers, even those who aren't subscribers that watch my video, you're the tribe, okay? And when you come back to me in comments on my videos or here in the peanut gallery tonight, you are interacting with me. We collectively are a tribe of folks from all over this planet. And this is why I redesigned the mug for this one here. Now here you see the same tribe on the coast of an island or onshore from some sea, right? And you can see a palm tree in the background, right? And on a mound, you see a Goliath-looking Les Paul guitar to guide us all to the promised land of the tribe.
Beast LVX just came in with a super thanks.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Beast.
wow. $20?
He's
I can
always
tell
so
it must be the $20
wonderful.
one because I can't read it. Could you...
Yes, I'll read
Oh,
it.
it is a $20 one.
Yes, it
if I
is.
bury my face in, sometimes
He
works.
says
but-
the Rock and Roll Hall of Shame has committed many atrocities in regards to Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was it bad when they snubbed Dio, but also an unsung hero in British singer Tony Martin after Dio departed.
Oh,
a
yeah.
real shame. I agree, totally, Beast.
Yeah, you know what? And LVX Beast, that is Deuces Wild, I believe, isn't it? Did I get it right this time?
I think so.
Okay. So many nicknames to remember, you know?
I know.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that. And you know what, Deuce? We're going to be talking about Ronnie James Dio. He's on the list tonight. That was one of the ones that several of you have mentioned him already. And Tony Martin, was that, because when she read that name, I'm going, what now? Who's Tony? Oh yeah, that guy that came in real quick, wasn't it? Okay, so first of all, we're talking about Black Sabbath, for those of you who aren't in the know, being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it was the 4 original members. Now, I remember when I first started this channel, one of the bands that only got the 4 original members was Kiss. All right. And at the time, I clearly believed this. And tonight I'm going to see if I can unravel this in my mind. But that I thought, no, those were the 4 key members. Those are the ones that the world fell in love with. The other guys were just extra, you know, and brought in because, well, the core band was falling apart. Power broking was going on in the band. And I go, no, let's just keep it to the 4 core members. And if I had done this video earlier, I probably would have said the same thing, if I haven't already, about Black Sabbath. For me, Black Sabbath is just like one of the most important bands in rock and roll for me. My favorite band in rock and roll is the Beatles. So you know that my palette is wide. I love Yes, that's my favorite prog rock band. I love Led Zeppelin, my second favorite band of all time. I love Electric Light Orchestra, Alan Parsons, which is a lighter affair, but still, man, somehow gets to me. And so Black Sabbath, you got to understand, I was there when Black Sabbath came out. I was a teenager when they came out, okay? And so that was, okay, this is the new band. It was still young enough in rock. There were hardly any bands at that point that had replaced anybody yet. You know, Brian from the Stones had been replaced. And then he died so quickly after that they had to make a special live concert, not only to honor him, but to introduce his replacement. Okay, so, but that was big news, folks. That was like earth-shattering news, not Brian, you know, and it was still, and Brian, I think, was before Hendrix and before Mama Cass, but he was also the first big fire that I was aware of. Now, lesser known bands who, you know, you might have a band like the Four Seasons who would interchange people over the decades, and it didn't matter because everybody was focused on Frankie Valli, you know, or am I getting his name right? Why do I think I just got that wrong?
What name was that again?
Is it Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons?
Yeah, Frankie
Valli. Okay,
yeah.
Somehow you ever do that? You use a name and you go, was that even the right guy? As you try to fake yourself out of a conversation. Yeah. I've done that a million times. When you're live on the air, man, you just got to own up to it, you know? And the membership is not that important. Often you'll get 30 or 40 members to such bands, you know, on the oldies circuits, continuing it on, you know. Well, who's the owner now? Well, that's Frank. Who's Frank? Frank is the husband to the second cousin to the granddaughter of the original member, you know. And somehow the paperwork just trickled down to this guy, and he now has 5 different people you never saw before.
Oh
my goodness, Dan is in.
Just the fax man just came
Oh my
in
goodness,
with the
$20 super thanks. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Dan, by the way,
is always so wonderful.
Guys, you got to go see Dan's new, I guess it's about 15 minutes. I thought it was longer. You just get into it, you know. I've watched it 3 times already. He's got a mini documentary. Dan went to England not that long ago, just last month, with the intent of filming Birmingham, and everything focused around Ozzy Osbourne. Dan was a real big help to Royce and I as we covered the Ozzy Osbourne story going back, Royce and I, 2 years ago, when we started first hearing rumors and when this was could it happen? Actually, it started off whether Ozzy could even do a tour that he had promised. And then that he got waylaid and everything else like that. But Dan's as big a fan as of Black Sabbath as Royce and I, and he really does Ozzy up really well.
Yeah, he says, I have only seen 2 Hall of Fame awards in person. Black Sabbath 2005 and Ozzy 2024. Both on display at the Ozzy exhibit in Birmingham.
Right.
Wow, that must have been really cool, Dan.
And that documentary is what he's talking about. All right. So, Dan, feel free to drop a link. I've got you in as a moderator and everything to that video. Okay. And on my last stream, I didn't think to do it on this stream, so it's not in by clicking on the title. But if you look at my last stream, it's there, or you can go to my channel page. Dan is one of the 5 channels that I publicly support, and you can just click over there and then click on the documentary. Very well filmed, high def, wonderful, a treat to the eyes, and very subdued. I like that. Not selling any one angle or anything. Just from a fan, you almost feel like Dan filmed it just to absorb the energy of Birmingham around the death of Ozzy Osbourne and truly the last concert of Black Sabbath. All of that stuff happened. What a year 2025 was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, got the merch out of the way, got the shout outs out of the way. Okay. So what I wanted to do tonight, folks, is I wanted to have a little fun with this. But I'm seriously, let's kick this around. Let's kick this idea around. First of all, I have a criteria of the people that I would think personally would be eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of a band as it's being inducted into it, even though maybe that person hadn't been with the band for a decade or two. I had hardly been with the band, but there are some criteria that I would like to follow. For example, I'll give you an example. For me, Pete Best doesn't quite make it. He recorded as a Beatle at the Decca recording sessions. All right. He's on the Beatle record there. He was officially a Beatle and everything, but I don't see a real need for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to induct him because he was part of the Roots and didn't wind up on record until decades and decades later based on stuff that never saw a record. Okay, so now many of you may disagree with me on that, but that's one of my criteria, all right? And give me some of your criteria as we go through this. If my criteria would be they would be eligible if they were crucial to what made the band inductable. All right, what is it about this band getting inducted? It just fits so perfectly. Why are we going to bring this band into our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Well, it's because of this. And when you talk about the Beatles, we're talking about Pete Best. The Beatles' body of work, all right, from their first album, Please Please Me, all the way through their last released album, though not last recorded, Let It Be, in 1970. There was no Pete Best around. Okay, so that would be one criteria that I'd be kind of sticky on, because there are bands that have quite literally 50 members to their roster. And is that where we're going to go? And if it is, I've got an idea on that as well. My second criteria is members fired from the band before their initial success, not eligible unless they were essential in some fashion to the band's success afterwards. Okay? So afterwards. All right, it's not what the fact that they were. Pete Shotton was in the Beatles at one form, or wasn't he in the Quarrymen at one point? Did he play Washboard? I may have that name mixed up with the wrong Quarrymen, which is connected to the Beatles, right? I mean, a lot of the Quarrymen became the Beatles, so there you go. All right, and then number 3, must have been found in a band on one of their albums, okay? Again, Pete Best doesn't come to that fruition until Anthology, and I don't think we go back and circumvent that because of that. But I could understand people disagreeing with me about Pete Best. The album must have new music, not containing just recordings that the band has already done. And of course, that covers Anthology and any other former members of any other band. Okay, so that was a thing. And I liked it because most of the people on the list I'm going to be reading to you, kind of, they are under this umbrella one way or another. Okay, in other words, a lot of these people have even got me rethinking Kiss and all of that. And I want to hear from you. So, Kimberly, when I'm starting to go through this,
okay,
look for comments from any of the Peanut Gallery saying, well, I think Eric Carr needs to be inducted now, or but give us a reason. Give us a reason.
Okay.
Short, succinct, and then as I get through this list, I'll try to remember after each artist to kind of engage with the audience. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay, so, and then here's my idea as we go through this list. Because I'm starting to feel like there are instances where a member could be inducted, even though they're not the core membership. Now, I'm less comfortable about somebody like Pete Best being inducted than I am Ronnie James Dio. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, I'm primarily an original band Black Sabbath fan. I didn't care for Black Sabbath after, but I know a lot of you do, and they're still Black Sabbath, right? And if anybody in Black Sabbath could challenge Ozzy Osbourne, it certainly would be Ronnie James Dio, just on his performance. And he was on, I think, 3 albums and a live one, because I covered a live one that he was on a few streams ago, right? So he's on albums and everything, okay? And just because I don't prefer Sabbath in that incarnation doesn't mean, I know a lot of you love Ronnie James Dio. My good buddy Royce loves Ronnie. I think Dan loves Ronnie James Dio. And I like his voice. I just didn't ever feel that it fit into Black Sabbath. Okay? That's all. And so I didn't follow him after that. I hear their cuts on the radio, never turned them off or anything. I just didn't follow them after that. And so when they were inducted, you got the 4 guys. And Ronnie was left out in the cold. And we'll be talking about that as I go through this.
Jay Foster.
Oh, Jay, it's good to see you. That's John Foster.
Thank you,
yeah.
Jay Foster.
Yeah.
That
Tribal
so
Elder.
Nice.
Can you read that, baby?
Yeah, he says, I also got into Black Sabbath from the start. In many ways, they got me through my teen years. And even now, along with the Beatles and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Amen, Jay Foster.
Yeah, you sound like me. Got through it a lot. And we also have a note from one of our, Storm Cop? Good Lord. Do you see this, baby?
What? Oh, no, because I'm trying to say thank you to Jay. Oh, did he come in?
He came in and he just purchased, I believe.
Oh, my.
5. Was it 5? My goodness. Storm Cop. Oh, wow. Nice. That's a nice
so
gift.
Wonderful.
Now, what he's done, folks, is he's given, he's purchased 5 memberships.
My.
And the YouTube algorithm will spit that out to
boy.
different one of you guys. If you see an offer in the comment section here, tap on it. That'll give you a free month's membership into the tribe. And you'll be in as an elder. Okay, there's a second tier where you can join. You become a tribal chieftain, but the vast majority of the folks over there are tribal elders, and you got voting power. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm streaming tonight is because tribal elders got together along with chieftains and voted that they really missed the 2 times a week. Who am I to pull against gravity? Never works. Gravity always wins. You notice that, baby?
Oh, it sure does.
Oh, my goodness.
Do I notice that?
So if you get that, please. And there's all kinds of
Oh, my
new
goodness.
content over there. Content that's not on the regular
20
channel.
months.
And I've probably got well over 150 videos over there, okay, that you've never seen over here. So thank you, James.
Oh my goodness, he just became 20 months for Storm Cop. He says, it's what I do. We are going to grow this channel like crazy.
Brother, I sure appreciate it.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
Storm Cop, you are wonderful.
Right.
So wonderful. Thank you.
I don't know what we could do without him, babe.
I know.
You know?
I know it's people like him, but we have a lot of great people here.
Oh,
wonderful! Everybody
absolutely,
is so
and I'm
wonderful.
yeah, I've said it till I'm blue in the face. I do it for the viewers. You know, the viewers. You, whether you give a thumbs up, but if you are in a charitable mood, that might be nice too.
Yeah.
Tonight, often if we hit 50 thumbs up during a stream. And people aren't used to me doing this Wednesday thing. I kind of let it go fallow for a couple weeks and everything. So I'm not even going to look at how many I'm looking at right now or anything like that. But if you can give us a thumbs up, it gets us to that first 50 level. That puts a minor split out into more home feeds. We get to 100, it spits out even more. And if you're watching this stream secondhand, in other words, on repeat, because you couldn't make the stream, giving us a thumbs up even now will help, okay? All right, so that gets back to my idea here. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who should be inducted and who shouldn't, right? We'll get to that point in a minute, but I have an idea. What if we had a 3-tiered Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Okay, quit inducting people out of rock and roll and start really focusing on the art form that you are purported to be honoring. John? Okay? All right, so get rid of that bling sing and get back to rock and roll and watch the amount of people who will start really, truly watching your show increase revenue for you. So here's the thing. It does take away from members of a band, especially 4-member bands, Black Sabbath, the Beatles, the real small 4-core band members. And there was some guy that was there before, and he gets all of a sudden nudged up after they're being honored for their bulk of their work that doesn't even include that individual. I could see how that could be did I get that really? Storm Cup? Oh, it's okay, you did read that, babe. All right. I've still got that tickle in my throat. I'm kind of monkeying around trying to dance around where to start this. Okay, so here's my proposal. What the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should keep doing is bringing in and honoring core members. And they are honored, and they get their little trophy or whatever it is that they do. I never get to that part anyway. I'm not really that interested. But, and give them gold standard, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction gold, right? Some members who were on a couple of albums or important albums, but haven't been with the vast bulk, give them a silver, right? And then if there's other members who were on an album, but everything changed after that, and it's a less of a footprint, give them a bronze rating.
Rockin' Robin Bird said she just sent a super chat, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh my goodness.
That's weird.
Well, Rockin', did you send it to another video maybe? Because I don't see anything here either.
I don't see a thing. That's weird.
But after the stream, what I'll do is it'll show up in my YouTube studio.
I think she had something to say. I don't know what yet.
Yeah, well, look for a comment from her.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll take her comment anyway, and it'll be in my studio, and I'll give you your shout out on that. I don't know what you sent, but blessings to you for sending it.
Yeah, thank you, Rock and Robin Bird. We can't see it at all.
Yeah.
But,
wait a minute, I do see one.
Where? Where?
$2 right here.
How come I don't see it? That's weird. I don't see anything. Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, I was trying to give her a thumbs up. That's why I was hesitating here. And it's not letting me on this iPad all night. I haven't been able to. She gave us a $2 super thanks.
Thank you, Rock and Robin Bird.
Yeah. She says make a separate Hall of Fame for other genres and besides rock. I agree, Rockin'. Absolutely. I've always agreed with that. I'm not saying they're not art forms. They're just not rock and roll art forms. And I'm not saying art forms can't blend. You got a group that's half rock and roll and half rap. I don't know where you put them. I'm not worried about that right now. What I am worried about is the obvious deletions of inductions of true rock and roll and the infusion of artists from other genres. I'm not saying those artists are not. Missy Elliott has gotten a lot of crap from me, all right? Because she doesn't belong there, in my humble opinion. I listened to some of her music. Her voice is great. I haven't since. I would listen to it when I was first talking about her. And I remember going, yeah, she's talented, but there's not an ounce of rock and roll to the woman for me. And it's obvious. I mean, it's like, you're like that kid sometimes, or I feel like I'm that kid, and the emperor is up there butt naked, and I'm going, but, and everybody's going, shh. What a fine set of new clothes the emperor has. Yeah, babe.
Storm Cup says to ask you if you saw his message about all the different categories in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, did you send that via a message to me on my phone? Because I haven't seen it yet. Has he said anything on that, babe?
Let's see. I'm looking. I'm just. I wonder if it's down further.
Because I'll tell you what, before I got up here, folks, I was still plugging wires and everything frantic. That's why I was a few minutes late getting up here. And I sent Kimberly into the peanut gallery, please let them know, and everything. It was a difficult setup today, so I didn't get to read like I usually do all the pre. Sometimes you guys will see me, I'll have a conversation with you guys as I'm getting ready. I wasn't ready when I got on, today, but I was bound and determined to get to this stream because there was such a demand for it. But what I'm thinking is that three-tiered kind of award system. Why wouldn't Eric get a silver, right? And in that case, why wouldn't Pete Best get a bronze? Acknowledgement, a bronze acknowledgement at the very least. And that way, he can still say in his autobiography, he was a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, right? Yeah. If not full recognition, something in writing, and it should be included. If they're not of the prime group that comes up on stage, let that group at least acknowledge their names, and we accept this award for you. What do you guys think of that idea as we go through this list? Okay, so which brings me to this list. I swear to God it does. All right.
Oh, I guess the categories would be diamond, platinum, gold, silver, bronze. That's because they want to do our own Hall of Fame.
Wow, I hadn't thought of a diamond. So diamond?
Yeah, diamond, platinum, gold, silver, bronze.
Whoa! Okay, now you're going to get me thinking. Take a screenshot of that, baby. I want to see that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Will do.
there's a few of you out there going, well, the tribe ought to make their own damn Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I tremble at the challenge of that.
Yep.
My God, I don't know. It is intriguing. I think James is one of those that have been wanting to do that, too, as
Yeah.
I recall. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let me make sure I've got the right ones here. I think I like, there was one article that was a little better than the other. I actually had an article from UCR, but you know what? I like the way this article read a little bit better, mainly because it kind of covers things about some of these people I didn't know, and maybe you guys didn't either. It starts off by saying most conversations, and by far the loudest about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame snubs, focus on bands passed over for induction or those who have never been nominated. But there's another kind of rock and roll snub, largely ignored in media coverage and underplayed in social media debates amongst fans. Not tonight, it ain't. I'm on social media right now, and I'm discussing it. Yeah,
Storm
babe.
Cup wants to make sure that you know that Divining Dragon is the one who got him thinking about a channel Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, divining would have been my number 2 suspect right off.
Yep. Oh, both of them together. Yeah. Yeah.
They are conspiring against me,
Yeah.
Kimberly.
Well, there are a couple of pillars here on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they are.
I love it. Okay, so so I'm on social media discussing it, but you know what? I don't think I've seen another stream that talks about it quite in this way. I've covered streams where we've talked about I covered over 150 bands or artists and bands that had been snubbed by them last year right here on the Tribal Forum. So we've discussed that obvious, and you know what? As I go on with the channel, I start thinking of new and interesting ways to look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, especially since they had and I mean this with a small r, relatively, begrudgingly, relatively, a good year last year compared to years past.
Yeah, the Monkees should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
They should.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
No, that's what they're saying in the chat.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
I agree.
Right. Now, a lot of people, you're kidding me, man.
Oh, no.
Two of them weren't even musicians before they were.
No, they're part of the big, revolution.
Yeah, well, it's also the importance of left, and then, their records. They didn't write their material. People like Neil Diamond wrote for them. I'm a Believer, I believe, is one of his cuts, right?
Oh, I'm a Believer. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. Isn't that Neil Diamond? Some of you out there can tell me. But they did become a real band before it was over. They were playing their own instruments and everything. And before that, they were singing. Okay, there's plenty of people who were nothing more than a singer, singing songs written by a guitarist in the band or something like that, that makes the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that have made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the past. Their arrival at a key point in the 60s would make them icons of an era that was begrudgingly let go. These guys were selling Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
10 years later, sans Peter Tork. But, just based on, if you're not a Monkees fan, I guess you don't get it, I worry about the Monkees because even though I know a lot of people, Caitlin, she's young enough to be my daughter easily.
Yeah.
She loves the Monkees.
Yep.
So, and my daughter, who's even younger than Caitlin, my baby daughter, I have a daughter that's about the age of Caitlin, and then I have a baby daughter who's 26.
Yep.
And she loves the
26.
Monkees.
Oh,
So maybe
yeah.
I'm being a little too what that could ruin it. But if on some of these bands, some of the styles of rock and roll, you almost I feel like you almost had to be there
Yeah.
to get how important they are, and that style was. And you have to be willing to put your mind in a frame because, like for example, a lot of people feel the Moody Blues.
I know.
They go, yeah, but that's such a, an obscure little thing over here in the corner. They were huge.
No, the Moody Blues.
But I've met a ton of people,
they're
young
major.
people that I talk to. I go about town. Hey, yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Moody Blues, yeah. I go, can you name any of, I don't know.
Hey, Joseph Blue
you know?
says they never nominated Jethro Tull.
Nope.
The Monkees, Alice in Chains,
Right.
Boston, Motley Crue, Kansas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are major bands that weren't,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can put Dolly Parton in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Don't get it. Well, I don't know how many videos I dedicated to that back in the day.
Yeah.
They're still up, folks. You can go see them. But when she first got nominated, oh, no, not little old me. Never. I'm not rock and roll.
Yeah.
Then John Sykes starts whispering in her ear,
Yeah.
Oh, no. But really, if you think about it, what a snake.
This is what rock and roll is.
Yeah, he's such a snake of a man.
Never mind that you're country.
I think it was LL Cool J had to pull that same, come on over here, let me talk to you.
Yeah, I love LL Cool J. Yeah.
He's a circus barker.
What you talking about?
Yeah, it's all a circus over there. All right, so like I said, most conversations will rely on that. See, we'll deviate into that in a heartbeat over here because it is such a big deal. And we're going to go back over that list here as we get closer to the season, all right? And we have a lot of new viewers who didn't see it and they don't want to go hunt up an old stream that might have, year-old information that's already been corrected. So we need to update the whole thing. That's coming. But I wanted to get back on the air at a set time, set days, Wednesdays and Sundays at 5 p.m. PST, folks. All right? And then we'll get back in and we're going to really pound in on this occasionally as the year goes. Because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, milk it from the very beginning. My last video we did on this was based on a supposition by a guy from Axiom, and he's already putting out feelers, and he put 4, 5, 6 people up on a list that I covered. They haven't even got their list out yet. He was supposing back late 2025 that these could very well be the people we're looking at. And most of them are not anybody I feel that should be in, or if they are at least worthy, they should have to wait a while because we got people who are dying on us before they'll ever be. Ask Mick Ralphs from Bad Company. Okay? And if you're going to honor somebody, I mean, posthumously, that's fine. But it'd be kind of nice if they humously could know that they were inducted and that they could hold that fabled little statue in their hands for a moment.
Yeah, for sure.
I did it,
Yep.
Boy. But never mind. But now he says, sometimes the Rock Hall gets it right. They include everyone who is legitimately playing a role in making the bands iconic. Other times, though, it's wildly off. There have been some eyebrow-raising inclusions of members who, as talented as they may be, had little or nothing to do with the band's hits, classic tours, or influential eras. Remember, it's the era. It's the body of work, or the greatest body of work for those bands who just refuse to die. They won't record new music, except for an occasional live album with 1 or 2 songs the old guy wrote, and he's not actively writing anymore, right? Foreigner. But you know what I'm talking about there, right? It says, by far worse is the flip of that. Musicians who made notable contributions to the rock bands, but were left out of the list of inducted members below in my opinion, are 5 musicians who should have been enshrined along with their bands. And the very first person he has up here is Ronnie James Dio. Okay? That's the very first thing he thinks of, just like you guys. Several of you thought that was going to be. Like I said, Ronnie James Dio was on 3 albums that I'm aware of, proper LPs, and a live album. If any of you know that he's on more than that, let me know. But I'm going to give you an example of somebody tonight that was only on 1 album that I think should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he wasn't included. Okay, so Ronnie James Dio, he was most people will go, who name 2 singers of Black Sabbath, it'll be Ozzy Osbourne and Ronnie James Dio. Comes to 99% of all minds right away. So it's not like he was some obscure guy. Who was it? Tony Martin that you brought up, who came up bubbling up, and that's great that he was. And maybe Tony deserves a silver acknowledgement or a bronze acknowledgement, right? A ribbon, something. Okay, if he was in the band, especially if they did any albums and everything else. I mean, Ronnie James Dio was part of the band. And that's where it goes. I'm sitting here, I'm getting past my own prejudice concerning, as I told you earlier, I like Black Sabbath, the original incarnation, one of my favorite bands, one of the first. I've got all but 2 of the original band's albums. I've got 5 of them, the first 5. I need the last 2 still. And I have a very small record collection. Okay, so for me to have that many albums by any one band at this point tells you what a great fan I am of them. And I am reassessing Ronnie James Dio. Because I got to tell you, probably the main reason I didn't want to get into him is Ozzy's not there anymore, man. That's not Black Sabbath. That was me. That's how I felt about it. I like them bare bones. I want to see Geezer. I want to see Ozzy. I want to see Tony, right? I want to see the 4 of them right there creating for me and bringing in I just wasn't willing to make the leap. What did they say? But after Sabbath parted ways with Osbourne, they brought in Ronnie James Dio on vocals, and the band recorded 2 successful, and influential albums, Heaven and Hell and 81's Mob Rules. Okay, so 2. All right. Dio, who went on to front classic band bearing his own name, would intermittently reunite with Sabbath in later decades for albums and touring. Okay, so it's not just those 2 albums. Great. Okay, they talk about his powerful vocals, fantastical lyrics. I haven't really gotten into the lyrics. Like I said, I need to reassess Sabbath post-Ozzy, right? But he's known for that. He was also widely regarded as one of metal's greatest, if not the greatest singer ever. And the most predominant band that he's associated with, I don't care what anybody says, is going to be Black Sabbath. No matter how successful he was in other incarnations, it would be him. Also, they talk about Eric Carr, Vinnie Vincent, and Bruce Kulick. Kulick or Kulick? Kulick? Is it Kulick? Bruce Kulick. In Rolling Stone's first ever cover story on Kiss, pegged to the band's 2014 Rock Hall induction 15 years after they were eligible, Kiss frontman told writer Brian Hyatt, "I don't need the Hall of Fame." They always say that, don't they, folks? I don't care about that thing, just in case they don't get inducted. See, I told you, dumb shits, So, but anyway, I don't need to be in the Hall of Fame. And if there's not reciprocity.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm not interested, he says. Red Hot Chili Peppers, practically every member was inducted, and virtually all 175 members of the Grateful Dead, rules need to apply to everybody's, right? Okay. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we'll talk. Who was it? The lyricist for the Grateful Dead was inducted, and yet the lyricist of another band we'll be talking about wasn't. Okay. So they're saying Eric Carr should be inducted. What do you guys think? From Kiss, died too soon, no doubt. Or Eric Singer is what I'm thinking of.
Tommy Thayer should be inducted.
Tommy Thayer, yep.
Yep.
See, and if you look at my earlier videos, you're going to find me going, no way. Yeah. Those ass clowns don't need to be inducted, you know.
Jay
or something like
Giles
that.
Band.
Jay Giles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're epic.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
I know. So let's see. Who else did they have here? You know what? I'm going to look over here because I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that really got it.
Joseph Blue said, "Happy 86th birthday to the legendary Grace Slick."
Oh my goodness.
Woohoo, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jefferson.
86. Yeah, I can't even imagine a Grace Slick at 86.
Yeah.
You know, and when she first came out, she didn't look like some young, innocent little child. You know, her face is very sculpted. She was attractive.
Yeah.
But she looked like, she always looked about 5, 6, 7 years older than
she looked
really was.
like experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought she was very, you know, when they first came out, you know, one pill makes you larger than seeing her. You go, yeah, she's hot.
Oh,
yeah. But it seems like she was you always felt like she was the oldest member of the group, just as far as looks. And yet at the same time.
She had that look.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what they're saying, along with Vinnie Appice, they need to be put in. They also brought up Graham Parsons from the Byrds. Now, I'll just read what they have here. As with Sabbath, the Byrds' original lineup, guitarist and singer Roger McGuinn, guitar singer David Crosby, singer Gene Clark, bassist singer Chris Hillman, and drummer Michael Clark were game changers in rock and roll. But one of their greatest and most influential albums, some say, by the way, the first true country rock album, I think is how a lot of people would say about this, was Sweethearts of the Rodeo. All right, and he wrote a whole lot of it and he made the album and then he was gone. And yet that changed what the Byrds were around. Yet he was in so fast and still very much not only a creative spark, but a creative force while he was there. To me, what would that be for you guys? You know, I mean, if you think about all their albums, you've got this one sliver of Graham Parsons. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
Silver? A silver award? You know? And also mention bronze award to that? I don't know. All right? I mean, but he changed how they sounded. He changed their direction, or was an intricate part of that change of direction. Nick Simper of Deep Purple. Now this is interesting. I got to read this to you. Like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple has several lineups. Unlike Sabbath, the Rock Hall acknowledged more than one of them. All right? Now think about that. Purple's most famous lineup, of course, is Mark II, right? Keyboardist John Lord, guitarist Richie Blackmore, and drummer Ian Pace, with singer Ian Gillan and bassist Roger Glover. But Mark III was also acknowledged when they were brought in, as singer David Coverdale and bassist singer Glenn Hughes were included. Mach 1, the original lineup, who had hits with Hush and Kentucky Woman, was recognized too. That lineup put out 3 albums, Shades of Deep Purple, The Book of Taliesin, and Deep Purple, right? Singer Rod Evans from Deep Purple was included, although bassist Nick Simmer wasn't, and Nick was on every album that Rod Evans was on. What do you do with that? Now, that's them not even being consistent with their own rules at that moment. Not only were they inconsistent, they were inconsistent as they did it, and they did it by thumbing their nose with him by including Rod Evans, right? My God, what a slap in the face. You know, I've read articles on Nick Semper in the past, and he always said, I was the one guy who didn't want to go. I thought I was okay. I thought I had a gig, you know. And, when they got Glover, because Glover was connected to Ian Gillan, who they really wanted, he was out like a flash. Bands can be very cutthroat, especially bands that are on the edge or the verge of becoming even greater than they have been in the past. And a lot of these changes was a lot of, you have to hand it to them, Richie Blackmore's insistence that they get more into a heavier sound and rock. After he participated in John Lord's orchestral approach on a live album, he said, that's it, He even said it, I'll do it, if this becomes a hit, I'll play orchestral guitar for the rest of my life, fine, if I make money, right? And I mean, he said it, plain and simple. People, you listen to the interviews of these guys in their early years, they'd sell their soul for a sawbuck at that point. None of them were doing real good, they were just barely covering eating and having a roof over their head half the time, because that's where you have to do. You have to stretch your limitations to get to that point where record companies start recognizing you and thinking, what can we do with these fellas, right? Okay, Anthony Phillips of Genesis. Most Genesis fans agree that there are two classic eras of the band. The prog rock era of Peter Gabriel, Steve Hackett and Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford and Phil Collins. And then there was the most popular, stripped down Banks, Rutherford, Collins era. But not everyone knows that Collins and Hackett weren't original members. Anthony Phillips was the band's original guitarist and the group's leader in their early years. Sure, he only played on 2 albums, 1969's From Genesis to Revelation and 1970's Trespass, but those albums had some early classics like Stagnation, The Knife, The Silent Sun. He was a vital part of the band's early history, and the Rock Hall should not have ignored him. Well, yeah, 2 albums, okay? I don't know, man. With so many changes and everything, at least a bronze acknowledgement, right? At least a bronze acknowledgement, if they had such a thing. Chad Channing of Nirvana. Now, I like this. I loved this story when I read it. It says he played on Nirvana's first single, Love Buzz, as well as most of their debut album, 1989's Bleach. Yes, Dave Grohl is the band's most famous drummer, and Grohl played on their breakthrough album, Nevermind, although, as Grohl noted at Nirvana's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, on Nevermind, he was playing drum riffs that Channing came up with on the demos, getting ready to record that album. But Bleach is a classic, and so is Love Buzz. Interestingly, Jeff Ament of Pearl Jam listed Channing on the T-shirt that he wore to Pearl Jam's rock induction, right? In a way, as a form of protest, okay? And yet even Pearl Jam doesn't get out of this doubtful list here. How about David Abruzzi?
Dave Abruzzi, the best drummer of Pearl Jam.
Yep.
He wasn't inducted as a member of the band. This is what Dudley Barker says.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say about that, or anybody else that I've covered so far?
Today, apparently, is Dave Grohl's birthday.
I thought I saw a blurb on that. Happy birthday, Dave. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dave Grohl.
Love the band.
Yeah.
I do. I loved him from the outset. And it wasn't Dave Grohl that turned me on to him. I got to tell you, the fact that they had oh God, what's her name? The drummer Taylor Hawkins, right, from Alanis Morissette's drummer in it, and
Yeah.
they're a pop approach to a heavier sound. I really liked, right?
Yeah.
I even like the acoustic Dave Grohl, the Bones, down bare bones Dave Grohl, love them.
Beast LVX says Steve Hackett is a wizard genius. I
Yep,
like that. Wizard
he
genius.
was listed on one of these lists. Yeah, Pearl Jam have had 4 drummers over the course of their 11 albums and 1 EP. Dave Krusen and the band parted ways after their debut album, 10, which is my favorite Pearl Jam album by far, and he rightfully was included in the induction. Okay?
Yeah.
So he's on one album. Granted, that's got to be their biggest selling album, right? I don't think they've had a bigger album than that. They came out of the gate. You couldn't escape that album
Oh,
when it came out. Jeremy spoke in class today.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, but Matt Cameron is the band's longest running drummer, having been with them for over 2 decades.
Royce just came in with a super thanks.
Well, thank
Royce
you.
in the house. Thank you, Royce.
Can
You're
you read that
always
for me,
so
baby?
Wonderful. Yes, I can. He says, the R&RHoF has been so bad for so long. I have a big tent and can accept a lot that some won't accept, but it got ridiculous. So many deserving rockers left out.
Yes.
Yes,
Amen, Royce.
absolutely, Royce.
Were your ears burning? Because we just mentioned you a whole lot at the beginning of the show. But getting back to this idea with Pearl Jam now, notice this. Although, as Grohl noted in Nirvana's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Nevermind, he was playing drum riffs that Channing came up with later on the demos, right? Oh, we were talking about Bruisies. Okay, I was back on that. When Royce came in, I zipped up and came down. All right, so I was on Matt Cameron. Matt Cameron is the band's longest running drummer, having been with them for over 2 decades, so he was included. That makes sense too. But the exclusion of David Abruzzi is a bit confusing. He played on much of the tour promoting 10, including the band's legendary episode of MTV Unplugged. Okay, that's him. He also played on 2 very popular albums, Versus and Vitology. I think those were the 2 last albums I bought by them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was, let's see, what was that, 93? Yeah, I got that. And Vitology, that was 94. Yeah, I might have gone one more after that, because that's right around the time. That's just before I met you, baby.
Yep.
Yeah,
just before.
Loved him. And Jack Irons of Pearl Jam. We'd also argue that Jack Irons should have been included too. He joined at a chaotic time for the band and was something of an elder statesman. He had already been a member of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and had played in former Clash leader Joe Strummer's band. He was a bit more mature and experienced, and he encouraged the band to experiment more, which they did on 1996's No Code. That was also the album that led to their return to the road after not touring for the prior 2 albums. He was also on 1998's Yield. Irons, of course, is already a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer as a member of the Chili Peppers, but he should have been alt-rock's first 2-time inductee. Dave Grohl has that honor, having been inducted both with Nirvana and the Foo Fighters. Now, that's interesting. Now we're getting down, because, everybody knows Eric Clapton's the only 3-time winner, right? Notice what they say here. He would have been, should have been alt-rock's first 2-time inductee. Alt-rock's first 2-time inductee. Boy, we get into these, Alt-rock's top 10, song of February. Everything just has to be dialed in these days so much. But it's better than going the way the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been going lately. That's for sure. Jack Sherman of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Hillel, is that how you pronounce his name? I always thought it was Hillel. Hello, how are you? No, wrong song. Slovak was the original guitarist of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but he left before their debut album. Jack Sherman took over and played on 1984's Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anthony Kiedis, I always thought his name was pronounced that way, is referring to him when he yells, "Better be burnin', Sherman," right? Out in LA. Sherman also co-wrote much of their second album, 1985's Freaky Styley, but the band fired him before they recorded it after Slovak decided to return to the group. Those aren't their greatest albums, but Jack Sherman deserves respect for his part in playing on both of them. What do you guys think of that? I don't know those two albums by the Peppers. I don't go back that far with the Peppers. To tell you the truth, I've got what was it? The first one looks like all four faces with the tattoo. That was the first one I picked up by them. Writing David Navarro out of the Red Hot Chili Peppers over 20 years later feels weird. Like, did they really happen? Of course, they're talking about Navarro and his time. He was there but a minute. But there'd be a whole lot of alt two-timers because Navarro's going to get in before it's over. And then here's the big one I wanted to discuss more than anything to kind of close off this portion of this stream. There's two more. There's two more. Let's see. Yeah. Let's cover these two more. What about John?
Boy.
What's
Ben
that, babe?
just came in with the super things. Ben, you're always so wonderful.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
That's awesome. Let me get over here and acknowledge this. Oh, my goodness. $5 super. Thanks, Ben Scheidegger. My goodness.
Ben
Would you
says,
read that for me, Ben?
Ben says, Ronnie James Dio, his contribution to Richie Blackmore, Rainbow should alone get him in heaven. And Hell is Black Sabbath's third best-selling album, by the way. Woo.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it did better in sales than I thought.
Wow.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. Now, we're going to talk about here John Rutsey of Rush. Okay, I really wasn't aware of this album until I started covering Rush here on the channel. And I listened to this album. This album's fantastic. Their first album. What a cover. I love it. I'm an old comic book artist, so I'm going to like that, right? It's just Rush and these kind of momentum lines, and it's just rushing at you. The name Rush is rushing at you. What a fantastic album, right? And that's before they got their lyricist and new drummer. But the album is fantastic. It's as good as anything else they've done, in general. I mean, you could slice them up and go, okay, this is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, right? And all of that. But, their top albums, this has got to be one of their top albums. And Rutsey wasn't included. He should have gotten a silver, at least.
Yeah, Winslow Red Cross says Rutsey should be in.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Winslow. It's good to see you out there, by the way. And they sound like Rush. All right. Now they get more sophisticated. They way more sophisticated before they got to this. But you hear this, you go, yeah, that's Rush. That's Rush. So it's not like, okay, they were called Rush and they were doing coffee house ballads with a couple of people, and then the other two go over and join with this drummer, and they become alt rock, prog rock, answer to the 80s and 90s, that type of thing. Okay, I could see why you might not acknowledge a member of an acoustic trio, right? That sang it, but they just like the name, right? For all intents and purposes, this then would be a new band, and I could see, no, you don't even get a bronze for that. You're part of their history. You're a footnote when somebody writes their story in a book, at best. but the vast majority of that book will be about Rush. But this is Rush right out. This is often listed as high as 4, 5 on the best albums by Rush. The very first album. And then here's the other one that got me. As we mentioned, Santana has had a lot of members pass through its ranks. We understand why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame would only want to include the founding lineup who recorded the band's first 2 albums. And those first 2 albums are great. Man, they're so good. Carlos Santana, keyboardist, singer Greg Rowley, bassist David Brown, drummer Michael Shreve, and percussionist Jose Chepito Arias, and Mike Carabello. But Santana 3 is the classic, and my favorite album by Santana is Caravanserai. Guess who was on that? That was Neil Schon. So, I mean, to me, Caravanserai, I know not a lot of you are going to agree with me on that. Their first album, oh, I love that. Abraxas, I love it. Savannah, Santana 3, oh, God, they're heavy, too. But Caravanserai, and you can thank Black Sabbath for that, because I love their Planet Caravan thing. And that got me into that kind of weird-ass freaking mood that you need to be into to listen to Caravanserai, because there's a lot of musicianship and percussion going on and only occasional vocals. But my God, Neil Schon was on that, and I would rather see Neil Schon in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for Santana than Journey. I'm not a Journey fan. I like their first album, you know, when they first got together, and they were kind of an extension of Santana, and then they brought in that yank. But anyway, what do you guys think about Neil Schon being inducted? And if they're going to have Journey, of course, they're going to have Journey. You got to have Journey somewhere, right? Then he gets 2 inductions. It's about time.
Jay Foster says he can't remember. Has Billy Squier been inducted?
Billy Squier, I don't think. I think he...
And if not, he should be added.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Peter Banks of Yes? The original guitarist. He was on 2 albums.
Yeah.
And Yes is known to be a band that's had like 42,000 members in it. Right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you induct them, who do you induct? See, for me, if you were going to go, I'm sorry, we're going to go with our official Rock and Roll Hall of Fame rules. Only a core lineup that's famous will be inducted. Well, then the ones that really put them on the map would have been Chris Squire, John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Chris. I said Chris Squire? Did I say Chris Squire? Who am I missing? Chris Squire. Their guitarist, Steve, and Bill Bruford on drums. Okay? So Alan White wouldn't be inducted under those rules, but I'll bet you Alan White would be, right? So what about you know, their very first guitarist? I mean, that's how they got to the Yes album. The Yes album is fantastic, and I am far less a fan of the first 2 albums by Yes. But it's how they got there. It's part of the story. I'd give, you know what, if we were going to go under these new rules, you know, I'd give him a bronze mention, at least. Of course, Eric Carr of Kiss. What about Bernie Taupin?
Oh, Bernie Taupin.
Yeah.
You mean from like, what's his name? You know the one, Elton John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the one. Remember early in the stream, I told you we're talking about a certain person who did nothing for the Grateful Dead other than write their lyrics. He wasn't in the band, didn't perform with them.
No, he didn't perform.
And Bernie didn't perform with Elton John, right? Dig this. Okay, this is a kind of a unique one. Bernie doesn't play or sing on Elton John's records. He has, however, written the lyrics to most of his classics.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Hey, Robert Hunter was included with the Grateful Dead. He also didn't play or sing. His job was to write their lyrics. And yes, Elton is a solo act, not a band, but this year, Pat Benatar's induction will rightfully include her. So, her guitarist and husband, Neil, what is his name? Neil Geraldo, something like that. Toppin was essential to Elton John's artistry and his success. Are you kidding? His lyrics were equal to the music being sung. Okay? Let's get one thing straight. Bernie Taupin is one of the greatest lyricists in rock and roll.
Yeah, I was going to say Elton wouldn't have been as successful without Bernie.
No freaking
No
near.
way, yeah.
No way
Yeah.
near.
Absolutely.
That was the era of the singer-songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
You got a
He
singer-songwriter
is,
coming
he is-
out?
Yeah, he is just as responsible for Elton John's success.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If not more.
When I used to buy his albums, and I buy what I call classic Elton John, up to Yellow Brick Road, okay?
Tiny
From his first all the way there.
Love that.
Then I started losing interest. His sound was, I don't know, it was getting too popish. And there was such an organic feel to Tumbleweed Connection. You know, the first time I heard This Is Your Song, I just made me want to cry, you know, the first time you hear that song. And it's not just that the Bernie's lyrics are just absolutely freaking amazing on that song, but it's the music, both of them equally bringing you into an emotional climax of that song. Want to tell me why Bernie ain't in?
Oh, Joseph Blue said Bernie Taupin was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2023.
2023. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. And this is a 2022 article.
Okay.
Okay, Joseph Blue.
Okay.
So keep me honest on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Dr.
So I was
Insomnia.
worried when I was putting this list together. God, I'm going because I can barely, I can just barely cover the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Dr.
because it sickens
Insomnia
me.
is funny. He said without Bernie's lyrics, Elton was just a piano player singing cover songs, and that's true.
Right.
It is.
With Billy Joel, we got a lyricist and a songwriter.
Yep.
Right?
Oh,
and he
yeah.
was great. He was great. There are some people that do that. McCartney and Lennon, they were musicians and a songwriter and a lyricist. Some will say that John Lennon was rock's greatest lyricist.
Yeah, Leon B. Stelviex says Leon Russell should be indicted multiple times over.
Yeah.
What a guy, what a musician, songwriter of countless hits, producer, and he played so many giants.
Well, he was also in the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
He
Boy.
was on one of my favorite live concerts, and I've got a copy of it. George Harrison's Bangladesh concert.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. Wasn't he? Did he perform in the Band's movie?
He may have.
I see him in it. It's been a tick or two since I've watched it. I've got it here. But you couldn't escape the 70s without knowing at least knowing of him, a session man's player, totally.
Yeah.
And I dug his hair because, his hair went prematurely gray and white. He looked kind of like Steve Martin of the comedians,
Yeah.
Even when Steve Martin was young, fairly young, he had pretty much white gray hair. right from the
Juicebox
get-go.
Willie said Ringo Starr was in The Last Waltz.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The Last Waltz, yeah. It's been a tick or two since I've heard that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, listen, I want to hear from you and leave some comments. Kimberly's, I want you to go through any suggestions that you see before you turn off your phone and make a screenshot of anybody who's got ideas for doing this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay? Before you shut down tonight, I'll have her do that. Because you guys are enticing me to start our own. But that is a can of worms, man. I don't know. Let me know. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this now and you come back later, or you chew it over in your head, come back later and leave a comment. All right? because I always do. Now, after
Oh,
a
yeah, we
stream,
love
I
the
don't usually
comments.
start answering comments until about an hour or two or even 3, especially on Sunday nights when I'm streaming with Royce. It's you get so exhausted doing this, in the moment. It takes a lot of energy to keep your focus on where you're going, what's going on, and everything. And today was hell and high water to even get up here, wasn't
No,
it, baby?
it was a great stream, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh,
I
I
enjoyed
enjoyed it.
myself.
Oh,
Everybody.
always.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, hanging out with the tribe. You know what, you guys, I miss it when I'm not up here, right?
I know.
And I
I
know I
know.
said that, I'll go to once a week stream, and it's mainly because I wanted to focus my idea or my energies on the main part of the channel that has always built the channel. But I've been talking a whole lot with Royce about this, on and off. I consider him a good friend and a good soundboard to sound off my ideas. I'll hear back from
You
him and
know.
everything. And the more I thought about it, it's like, no, I don't want to lose this contact. That's why I didn't. I only included it as a possibility. It was the last choice. I gave you 3 days to choose from. That was the main thrust of the poll, was which of these days would be your favorite, and then just add it as the end. I miss twice a week or something like that. And the vast majority, you like it too. You guys have been keeping this channel alive. You've done it today. I love each and every one of you. What else can I say? We love each and every one of you. She shall not be, overdone, folks.
No.
And we do this.
Or I'll indict you.
Lord, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. But we do. We care for each and every one of you. We know some of you are having tough times right now, both medically, financially, whatever it is that you're going through. Don't feel alone. So many of us are experiencing tough times these days, right? And it's the spirit in which you encounter the barriers in life that give you a chance to get through them sometimes. You come into a barrier that's daunting and you're already a whipped puppy. It's not a
Oh.
time to fake that. But if you come in and you've got a good solid thing, it's what I've got to deal with. And, you never know what will be the thing you have to deal with next. Yeah, baby.
Oh, it's just that Joseph Blue told me, he says Kimberly Leon Russell was inducted in
Yeah.
2011.
Right.
He received the award for musical excellence and was inducted by his longtime friend and collaborator, Elton John.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Joseph.
Joseph, I love the fact that they've got these.
Oh, no.
So he wasn't inducted as like one of the 5 that are inducted. He was in the special acknowledgments. They do those
Yeah.
on the side. I'd give something to even be a member that was acknowledged on that, or at least I would be liking that if the Hall of Fame was worthy. But yeah, let me know, guys, in the comments. What do you think about doing that as a project this year? God. How do you even deal with that? I don't know
Yeah.
how I would do it. It'd have to be done through a series of polls. And we might have to do a special nominating type of, I don't know. Let me think about that, guys. That is a big charoot to smoke,
Yeah.
All right, folks. I'm Michael Noland. This is the bottom line. Have been all night. The times I've been totally cognizant of what's gone on here, I've been flipping through screens the whole time, trying to get my feet wet back into streaming. Take just a little bit of time off from streaming, I tell you. You can lose your chops really quick. But I appreciate each and every one of you that showed up for tonight's show. We got a little bit longer stream. I want to start doing a little bit longer stream, especially on Wednesdays. And work my way up. Maybe we can work our way into a 2-hour stream on Wednesdays. Is that something you guys want? If I expected you to be on for 2 hours, yeah, I might actually show up, Noland, All right, guys. Prayers, thoughts to each and every one of you. I'll see you on Sunday, if not sooner, through me shooting a video. But I'll see you on Sunday at 5 p.m. PST. If you haven't given this thing a thumbs up, we are one away from 50.
Our Storm Cop says, let's do an 8-hour stream.
Let's do it. I saw another content creator. I could have swore that's what she was going to do last night. You know, she started at 4. She was going to 9:30. You know?
Wow.
Till 9:30. Never saw her do that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
we could do a marathon.
Yeah,
we could like go through A through Z of all the classic rock people.
Yeah.
And their contributions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
More work for me. Thanks, baby.
Okay.
I appreciate it. And don't forget to take out the trash. I know.
Yeah, please.
Well, we hit 52. So this has been the first stream that we've actually hit 50 while still on. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Now, if you're watching this secondhand, like I said before, now I'm hoping that somebody will be watching the repeat of this and actually watch it all the way to this point. But if you are one such person, give it another thumbs up. We're at 54, just went up 2 more. I'll tell you what happens is if we hit 100 after the live stream, then we even get more views because they'll spit it out to a wider audience on the repeat.
Yeah.
So not every single thumbs up we get is vital. And never feel like, I wouldn't help much. It does. Because if I got 30 people who said that right now, we'd be closing in on 100. What I do doesn't really count. Okay, I'll try it. And watch it just start popping crazy. 56 right now. My God. Oh, Lord. All right, folks. Now, on Sunday, I'll be here at 5. And then afterwards, I'll be streaming on Royce's show. Most likely, I would imagine I will be there. And that starts at 6:30. Remember, the 4 Horsemen, Royce in the House. That's how you find it. Or go to my channel page and you can find his channel there. Do me a solid. The brother is coming so close to 2.1.
Go and subscribe to
He's like
the
one
4
Away,
Horsemen.
man.
Royce in the House.
He's like one away, man.
Good night, everybody.
Any one of you haven't, got signed up for his channel right now, you could make Royce's
and
day
go
so
over
much.
to Just the Facts, man.
Oh yes,
Watch
of
his
course.
documentary.
Of course, Dan. Oh yeah, and like I said, when I get off here, I will pin a link to Dan's excellent documentary. Trust me, folks, it's not going to be a waste of time. It's very nice, very nice. A visual smorgasbord, as it is. But I do know Royce was closing. That's why I was focusing on Royce, not to, put Dan off to the side at all. Both of those are the 2 closest brother channels to the bottom line. I love each and every one of them. Both of them, their families, everything about them and all of that. But Royce is coming in. This has been so hard. He was close before. And then the algorithm started taking away. I'm telling you, this stuff happens, right? And it would be nice because he's right up against it, and you could even give him that cushion. Let's get him to like 2.110. How about that? 2,110. If we got 11 of you folks to do that, he'd be well on to that and he could breathe a sigh of relief, right? Believe it or not, these are important to us content creators. We all want to feel like we're growing, right? And that is an indication. And you it's almost like a wave of love coming over you when you start seeing people starting to really sign up for your channel. It really humbles you, for one thing. I know it does Royce as well. Okay? Well, we made an hour and a half today, pretty close to it anyway. I was up a few minutes late, but close to an hour and a half. And I got a couple of ideas what I want to cover on Sunday. And then I want to shard this one out. This one was a little roughshod, I admit, on this stream. But we're going to have fun with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year, folks. And lots more coming up. All these bands that are touring, and yet some have already canceled. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Things that are coming out, albums that are coming out, and of course we'll have to face the passing away. I don't imagine 2026 is going to be any lighter on its toll amongst aging rockers. And unfortunately, that's part of it. Now is the time to start to categorize rock and roll. Every art form has the time when its artists were alive. Then there's the post period. And we want to send classic rock and roll into its post period, blazing hot and popular to all new and upcoming younger fans of music. All right, folks, I'll see you on Sunday. I got to turn this thing off and get up and do this thing. And I usually mutter until I can't stop muttering and stuff like that. Motor futter.
Okay, good night.